All right, welcome back to another episode of Sports Hype. We're going to be talking about a lot of sports, news today. Well, first up, let's start talking about the the happiness and the joyful career and life that Kobe Bryant had. We just celebrated Kobe Day, 8/24, right? And then the day before that was his birthday, 8/23. So, we celebrated that last week. Moving forward, there's going to be a statue in LA, finally, right? For Kobe Bean Bryant. Thank goodness for that. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about now moving into the negativity of, what's Jonathan Taylor going to be doing? What's that drama happening in Indianapolis? Who knows what's going on with the Colts? So there's that. Then we got say his boy, Trey Lance. It's not really his boy because we all know his boy's Brock Purdy, right? Thank goodness he's the starting quarterback for the 49ers. But then we got Trey Lance moving to Dallas, to your Dallas Cowboys. All right, so we'll be talking about all of that today. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, let's start with something positive. Obviously, you touched on it. Kobe Bryant finally getting his statue revealed this season, February 8th, 2024. Definitely going to be a monumental day for the Lakers and Lakers fans and franchise. As a Kobe fan, I'm very happy he's finally getting a statue, and I can't wait to see what it looks like. I'm hoping it's a fadeaway because that was obviously his trademark shot, and I think it would be a dope statue. So just thank you to the Lakers for finally paying tribute to Kobe Bryant, one of, if not the greatest Lakers to ever do it.
Hopping on, to your hypothesis about the Kobe statue. For me personally, yes, that would be really cool. Having the Kobe fade. But really, the most iconic thing for me is that reverse dunk, man. If you can have that statue be the reverse dunk, I don't think there would be anything better than that. That's to me the most iconic Kobe Bryant thing, right? And that's what I picture when I think of Kobe Bryant is that dunk or him pulling the jersey after the NBA Finals, right? So that was the best for me. Um, so yes, I'm very happy to all Lakers fans, all Kobe Bryant fans, because we are all Kobe Bryant fans at this point. Even though you probably didn't like him when he was playing, but you respected his game. So since he's one of the greatest of all times, of course he deserves a statue.
For sure. But yeah, moving on to more negative thoughts with Jonathan Taylor. Obviously, he wasn't traded by 4 p.m. today, so now he has to wait until the trade deadline to see what happens. He wasn't taken off the PUP list either, which means he's missing the first 4 games of the season. And even after the first 4 games, to me personally, I don't see him playing if he's still with Indianapolis. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, since he's missing the first 4 games, right? Then he's probably going to miss another 4 games and then another 4 games. So honestly, I really think his time in Indianapolis is done. He's not going to touch the field as a Colt anymore. It's sad to see because we've seen this happen in the NBA where players start to sit out. Really, we don't see it too often in the NFL unless you're Antonio Brown, where you can take off your jersey anytime you want. So really, it's a negative direction for the NFL. We got to try to get away from this where players can sit out because it'll ruin the game, especially with the growth they've had in the past couple of years.
Yeah, for sure. Um, but I do get where Jonathan Taylor's coming from because he is one of the best running backs in the league. He wants to be paid accordingly, and the Colts don't seem to value that. But to the point where holding out, I mean, I don't think a holdout really helps you that much. It just hurts your value, I feel like, because then teams looking to trade for you like, oh, you sat out a whole season. Are you in shape? Can you play? Like, you just never know.
So for me, sitting out an entire season, this all goes on to Deshaun Watson. Is he going to perform at his standard when he played for the Texans, right? This year, because this will be his first full year coming back. So if he can play correctly and play, at his standard and at his level, then I think other teams will look at this Jonathan Taylor thing and look like, okay, yes, he did sit out, but as you stated, he is one of the best running backs in the league. And I think they're going to buy into that and they're going to give him his money.
Yeah, I can see two teams I think are willing to do that. It just wasn't enough for right now from the Colts standpoint. I think the two teams might are the Dolphins, and I hope this doesn't happen as a Cowboys fan, but the Eagles.
If they go, if the Dolphins route is what you're more leaning to, I believe they're not going to have, they're going to go over the salary cap for sure, right? and they can't do that. It's unfortunate because I do believe he should be in Miami. That's one thing that they don't actually have solid number one, at that position, right? But they have everything else, right? They got the defense, they got the offense, except for the running back position, which isn't too shabby as it is. I think they got, who do they have at the number
Uh,
one?
they have like three running
They
backs.
do, right?
They
So
do a
I
committee.
I just didn't know who was going to be the number one, but they do have three great running backs there that can contribute to the game. But as you said, Jonathan Taylor, he could go to the Eagles. Just went to the Super Bowl. That would be tough, especially since they got better as it is in this offseason. If this team sticks together throughout the whole season, they may possibly make it to the Super Bowl again. Hopefully they don't. But if they do, and then they pick up Jonathan Taylor, that'll be ridiculous.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I'm hoping it's not going to happen because if they do get Jonathan Taylor, I think it's a guarantee they go back to the Super Bowl and they honestly might win it this time with a key running back like Jonathan Taylor.
See, I personally think that no matter how strong an NFC team gets this year, personally, I think an AFC team is going to pull out and win the Super Bowl once again, just because of how stacked that AFC conference is, right? The competition's in the AFC more than the NFC. So when they go through the AFC, yes, there can be injuries. They can be all these things can happen negatively towards a team, but really battle tested is what gets you to that Super Bowl and winning you that Super Bowl. And I think that's why an AFC team is going to win.
Yeah, I can see that. Looking at, the talent wise and the free agents, most of the most talented free agents went the AFC route and
Right.
they are more talented than the AFC. So I can see an AFC team winning it for sure. There are a few NFC teams, but they're not as many as AFC, obviously, because
Not as many as the AFC, but really, is it going to be the battle tested route that's going to help win for the AFC, or is it going to be the easier route for the NFC team, right, to win that Super Bowl? Because you got the Eagles, you got the Cowboys, right? You possibly got the 49ers. I'm not too sure about them. You got, the Giants in there. I know you don't like them, but they did get better with Darren Waller. So you got a couple NFC teams that might have an easier path to get to that Super Bowl. And less injuries means that they're more healthy and able to, have a better squad leading up to the Super Bowl.
yeah, that's very true. Um, NFC obviously will have an easier route. They will get to the Super Bowl, obviously, as all NFC, at least one NFC team does every year. It will be an easier route, but will that easier route make it harder for them to win the Super Bowl? Because the AFC will have to go through competition each and every round, when the NFC, whoever does make it, will have to go through more lenient competition.
Exactly. So that's the question: is the competition going to be better for the AFC team going to the Super Bowl, or is health going to be the beneficiary for that NFC team meeting that AFC team in the Super Bowl? So
Yeah, well, I
uh,
mean, we obviously saw what happened last year. It was a great Super Bowl, but overall, the battle tested team won in the Kansas City Chiefs.
100%, right? And you saw that with the Kansas City Chiefs because they had Patrick Mahomes, they had Travis Kelce, they had Jones right on the defensive side. So you look at all this, and even though they had all these injuries, right, with their receivers, with their running backs, um, they went ahead and that battle tested team won that Super Bowl because of that experience that they gained throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens during the NFL season. Can't wait for it. And the next podcast, when we do have Nick Saya, all three of us will do our NFL predictions like we did last year at this time. But speaking of the Kansas City Chiefs, another potential season holdout is Chris Jones, and he's by far, I think, their best defensive tackle. Without him, they're not going to get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. That's going to be tough for their defense because their defense is already their weak spot. Obviously, their offense is going to score with the best of them, but their defense is what helps the opponents stay in games. And without Chris Jones, that's going to help their opponents even more. And what's your thoughts on that whole situation? Because he wants to be paid like Aaron Donald money. And I don't think he's worth that much, but he is worth more than he's making, I feel like.
I agree. He is better than what he's making. But Aaron Donald, let's just think about this. Aaron Donald is possibly the one of the greatest defensive players we've ever seen, next to LT, next to JJ Watt, I would say,
Michael
next to
Strahan.
Michael Strahan. There's hundreds, I would say, not hundreds. There's tens of um. There's a lot of great defensive players, right? Is Jones part of that conversation?
He can be.
You can make an argument, but he's not part of that Michael Strahan. He's not part of that, Ray Lewis conversation, part of that, Aaron Donald conversation. I think TJ Watt, I think Micah Parsons,
Parsons.
right? He's gonna be in that conversation. We've already seen it, right? Yes, Jones has played well last year, but on a consistent basis, I really don't think he's up there with TJ Watt, Micah, and Aaron Donald right now. I'm sorry. Yes, you're great, but if you want to be paid that money, you got to be in that top 3 position, right? You see Tyreek Hill, you see all these, top 3 wide receivers. JJ making money, Tyreek's making money, right? So you got to be in that top 3 position, for your position in order to make that money.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. He's not worth the money he wants, but he is worth more money. But the question for me is, can the Chiefs give him that money with all the salary cap players they have on that team? And the answer is no. So if he wants that money, he's going to have to force his way out, which is what he's starting to do. But at least play a season, the last season with the Chiefs, give them that respect, and then move on in the offseason. Like, what's the big deal? You sign the tag, ball out, and then make bank somewhere else.
See, this is why I think the players are in too much control right now in every sport. I don't know how the front office or the management can regain some control over these players, because this is a job. This isn't like, my career and, 2K or, Madden. This is a job in real life. You show up to work, you get paid. If you don't show up to work, you don't get paid, you get fired. And we saw that with the kicker for the Browns, today, right? He got fired after not, producing. So when you don't show up to work, you get fired. This is what I don't think these NFL and NBA players are thinking right now. They're thinking, I'm that good, I'll get paid somewhere else. I don't need to play or go to work. It really shows that the consistency of showing up to work, that's when you get paid.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I I've been saying this for years now because it's been happening for years. The NBA started it, let's be honest, and then it worked his way over to the NFL the past few years, starting with Deshaun Watson. And I just don't like it. Like, I feel like you have to be a very stern owner. And there's one team that I don't see this happen with at all, and that is my Dallas Cowboys. And that is because, and the Steelers do that too. But the Cowboys, I've never seen a player try to force his way out of the Cowboys.
But do you know why?
I feel like it's because Jerry doesn't allow it.
Right. But I don't think it's a negative like force, right? Like you gotta play. Well,
no, he doesn't say that, but
no,
he's
respectable.
He's respectable, but he shows who is in charge respectfully.
100% because of his actions. He'll pay you if you produce. Jerry's not afraid to spend that money, as we can see, right? So when you look at that sort of side of management, right? When you look at the Steelers side of management, when you look at Mike Tomlin and that culture that you produce throughout the entire franchise, right? Players gotta, they gotta accept that culture, right?
For sure.
With the Cowboys, it's play well, I'll get paid. With the Steelers, it's work hard, we win. You gotta, go ahead and have that mindset.
Yeah, for sure. And the only player I've ever seen hold out was the first holdout I've ever seen as a Cowboys fan for my whole life was Zach Martin. And that was this past offseason. And he still got paid. It took a little bit longer, but he still got paid once they've worked it out.
Right. You look at Dak Prescott. He wasn't getting his money. Everyone else was getting their money. He didn't sit out. He understood my time will come. Jerry respects me and he knows what I'm capable of. Right. I'll get paid. You look at
exactly. And Dak still doesn't have the biggest contract that he wants, but he's still playing because he knows that if he plays well, he will get paid.
Exactly. It's common sense. You play, like I just said, you're going to get paid.
100%.
And if Jones doesn't play, then people will say, okay, he's a negative, aspect in the locker room, right? He's starting trouble. He's not on the field. He'll do whatever he wants. And that's negatively towards you and your family as a livelihood.
Yeah, for sure. And the same thing goes for Jonathan Taylor. Like, yeah, he's still going to get paid because he's one of the best running backs. But if he sits out, if I'm a GM and I'm looking at that, I'm like, okay, what if he gets unhappy here? He's going to do the same thing. I'm not going to throw that much money at you for that reason.
Right. And the perfect example, I cannot stress this enough, is James Harden.
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking too.
Because when you look at a player sitting out, you look at James Harden, you look at Kyrie Irving, these two guys will do what they want, right? And this can negatively impact any player who's trying to get, their bag, right, by sitting out, is because of those two key guys. And every GM and, front office is going to think about that, and they're not going to want you.
Yep, for sure. And I mean, Kyrie still get a big contract, 3 years, 86 million, but he could have got so much bigger if he didn't sit out a few of those years with the Celtics and the Nets, etc.
Right. And I think of Kyrie Irving, right? It's not the same thing as James Harden. Kyrie
No.
Irving sat out a couple of days, yes, for birthday parties and whatever, right? But when he plays, he shows up, right?
Right.
And he shows up for the team. He shows up for himself. And when you look at James Harden, where does he show up in the playoffs? No. Does he show up in the regular season? No. Does he even play? Sometimes he doesn't. He'll do what he wants.
Yep. And that's why he's bounced around all these teams the past few years, Rockets, Nets, and now 76ers. All these teams didn't pay you for that reason alone. It's really that simple.
Right. And that's why it's so easy to look at the NBA and look at that. And then you can associate that with the NFL and these players because of what's going to happen with Jonathan Taylor. Is he going to sit out? If he does, look at all these other examples in other sports.
Yeah, for sure. I hope this doesn't start a trend in the NFL for running backs, though. Once Jonathan Taylor does, if he does, like I believe he will, because there's no point for him playing with the Colts if he doesn't want to be there and if they're not going to give him that money. But I just hope it doesn't start a trend because every running back is unhappy right now. And I feel like if once Taylor does it, they're going to be like, oh, so that's what you have to do.
So I know you said you hope this doesn't happen. Do you think him sitting out is going to get him paid more money?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you think that running backs will start to do this though?
I believe they will if he gets what he wants. If he gets traded, like say halfway through the season, and a running back wants to be traded, they'll be like, okay, so that's what I have to do.
Okay, but here's the thing for me. You said that they're not going to get paid as much as they want to, which then goes with the same routine of, okay, running backs, they're just a workhorse. There's a risk factor to this. They shouldn't get paid as much as a quarterback or receiver, right? But then if they're not getting paid and they sit out and they get what they want and get traded, you're going to have all this movement going on in the NFL, right? Which also can negatively impact the NFL because these running backs are, yes, they're getting what they want and moving, but they're not getting paid at what they want, right?
Right. That is true. I just feel like if it does work and he gets what he wants, that running backs will be followers because we've seen it before. All it takes is one, like you said with Kyrie Irving. It took Kyrie doing it, and then James came out, and then all the others came out.
Right, exactly. Especially, first time when he was, sitting out for Cleveland, trying to hold out for Cleveland, right? Going to Celtics. If you look at the Jonathan Taylor situation in the NFL, if he does end up getting paid, this can ruin the NFL. This whole situation is very impactful and is very important that GMs and the NFL do not mess this up. Because if they mess this up, this will change the NFL forever.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, I believe it will mess up the NFL because as I said, I don't believe Jonathan Taylor will play another down for the Colts. He will get traded. And then, as I said, running backs will just follow. And not only running backs, any player who's unhappy.
Yeah, but the thing here for me is if he sits out and he gets traded, I think that team's gonna pay him the bag.
Oh, depending on where he goes, yeah, if they can afford it, they will.
Which then again will set a higher standard for all running backs.
Yeah, that is true. I'm just looking at history of NBA. Like they don't care about the money as much as getting what they want, I feel like.
And what I personally think, I don't think Jonathan Taylor wants to win. I think he wants that bag.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
So if he gets that bag, that he's going to set that new standard of having all these other running backs look like, okay, Najee Harris, perfect example, right? He's coming up. If he produces this year, he'll be like, okay, Jonathan got that bag. Look what I'm producing. I deserve that bag, right? Then you got
Yeah.
Delvin Cook, right? Oh, look at that. Look at Najee. Look at, Jonathan. I want that bag. I'm better than Najee.
And
I'm
then
close to Jonathan. And then it creates a whole spiral of all these running backs wanting that bag, getting that bag. And then look what that can, decrease the chances of a team re-signing a quarterback, wide receivers, getting a championship team squad together. It'll be very tough.
yeah, now that you brought that up, I do agree. If he does get the bag that he wants, the running back market will skyrocket and it will
Right.
be similar to what the quarterback market is right now, I feel like.
Right.
And obviously the quarterback market is crazy. And if the running back market gets that crazy, and then wide receivers will be like, oh, why am I not making more than running backs and so on and so forth, the NFL is gonna have to figure something out.
Exactly. Because if you look at yes, look at the running back position is one of the most important positions in the NFL.
But it's also one of the most replaceable, if we're being honest.
Exactly. But if these running backs get the bag that they're hoping to get, you can look at defensive ends who are making this bag. Everything will skyrocket. There's going to be a huge inflation in the NFL market because these running backs are going to get the bag that they want and what they feel like they deserve and what they do sometimes deserve, right? Every other position is going to be like, wow, I'm making this much compared to what running backs used to make. I want that much extra on top of that, right? And it's just going to be a crazy, inflation, rise in the NFL. And it's going to be fun. For me, it's going to be fun to watch, see what happens, and it'll be very interesting. But at the same time, it's going to deteriorate the NFL and what they've tried to build within the last couple of years with Roger Goodell, right? Implementing, other aspects like Jay-Z into the NFL, right? And, talking to him about things, right? Trying to implement other aspects of the game, going over to Europe. All these positive ways that the NFL has increased their likeness throughout the world, right? It's just going to go down the drain because of this market.
Yeah, that's actually very true. It could this whole Jonathan Taylor situation. Let's just put it this way: the NFL hinges on the Jonathan Taylor situation. So whatever happens there is going to either positively or negatively affect the Jonathan Taylor's or affect the NFL, and it's going to be interesting, very interesting to see what happens.
Right? Can I give you the crystal ball for a second, and I want to see what you think is going to happen in the future.
Okay.
So with this Jonathan Taylor whole, let's just drama, right? Let's just
Right.
call it as it is.
Yep.
What's going to happen in the future? Are we going to see Jonathan Taylor get the bag? Are we going to see, the NFL market, inflate, right? What's going to happen?
I believe we will see him traded by, I'm going to say week 8 of this season.
Okay.
Before the trade deadline. And then whichever team he goes to will sign him to a contract right away, the contract that he wants, and then the market will inflate.
8:31 p.m. Eastern Time, August 29th. You heard it here first. Jake just announced that the NFL is going down the drain because of Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I believe it will happen. And we'll see. If I'm wrong, I'll be happy to be wrong because I don't want to see that happen in the NFL. But it will be interesting to see what happens.
I 100% agree with you. I think this is going to happen, and I don't want it to happen. It's going to happen, though.
Yep, 100%. Because if it's not Jonathan Taylor, then another running back or receiver or a named player will do the same thing.
Right.
It's just unfortunately it is inevitable because of what you said. The players have the power.
Right.
But moving on to another NFL team, the Dallas Cowboys, who made a surprise move. Obviously, as you said, trading for Trey Lance. I personally like the move because all it took was a fifth rounder. I mean,
Yeah.
for a bargain. And he is coming off a broken ankle, but this way he has a chance to learn from Dak Prescott as well as Mike McCarthy, who molded Aaron Rodgers, I would say. So that could help his development as well. So obviously right now he's QB3, but to me, he's the backup in case Dak Prescott goes down, which hopefully he doesn't, but he has shown in history the past few seasons to get hurt here and there, miss a game or two. And if that does happen, I do like that we have Trey Lance back there instead of Cooper Rush, because Cooper Rush showed last year when Dak was hurt for 6 games that he couldn't score touchdowns. He could get in field goal positions, but he couldn't capitalize. And I think Trey Lance would capitalize with touchdowns. So what's your whole thoughts on this Trey Lance situation?
Another thing we agree on. It's crazy tonight. I do agree with this, right? Yes, he is the third right now, but I saw this and I'm like, wow. Are the Dallas Cowboys acting smart right now? Like, are they
Exactly.
actually doing something that productive and that could lead them to a Super Bowl? I don't know. Because like you said, yes, Cooper Rush, they kept them winning games, right? They kept them, going ahead, in field goal position, but he could not complete in the red zone, unlike Dak Prescott, who's one of the best in the league at doing that, right? You had Trey Lance, my goodness. We know what this boy can do, right? We know what he showed off in college, right? Yes, he was in San Fran, but that's the system. Like Nick likes to always say, San Fran is a systematic position for the quarterback, right? Dallas, let the reins loose, man. Trey Lance, he'll be slinging that ball to all those great receivers they got down there in Dallas right now. This is probably one of the best moves of the NFL. Along with Darren Waller going to the Giants, I think Trey Lance is a difference maker for the Dallas Cowboys.
I 100% agree. When I saw it, I was very surprised. I was like, Cowboys, that was the last team I expected to trade for
Right.
him.
For sure.
Even as a Cowboys fan, because as a Cowboys fan, we never make trades. Let's be honest. Jerry Jones
Right.
is not one to wheel
Right.
and deal.
Yeah.
So
Plus,
I
he's
was
expected to be a starter too. That's
right.
the thing.
Obviously, he signed off on it. He's okay with being the backup because the people who were saying that he's going to take Dak's job, come on, let's not go there yet. Dak did have a mediocre season last season, I will say, but the season prior to those to last season, he was a top 15 quarterback at best. So Trey Lance is not threatening Dak in any way. If this does anything, it motivates Dak, which will help the Cowboys even more, which I believe was a thought process in Jerry Jones' head, like, what can get Dak to perform at MVP level? Maybe bring in some competition. And that's exactly what he did.
Okay. So yes, those Cowboys fans that are saying, he's going to get replaced, no. Dak Prescott is there. It's cemented. It's just going to be like Tony Romo. Tony Romo, no matter how bad he played, that backup never took his spot, right? The loyalty is there with Dak. You look at Trey Lance, right? He's probably the best backup in the league, I would say.
I
Right?
agree.
If you do drop Dak, right, if he gets injured this
Right.
season, most likely he will. Knock on wood. I hope he doesn't.
At least, I mean, he's 30. He'll probably miss a game or two, I'll say, at least.
Right. But if he does, those should be winnable games because you got Trey Lance in that quarterback position with those great receivers, with that great defense. Everything should run smoothly. And the Dallas Cowboys, personally, I don't know about this. It's going to be tough. They could be the first in their division this year and make it to the Super Bowl. Make it. They could, right? They got a high possibility. You don't got Aaron Rodgers. You don't got Tom Brady in the NFC no more. It's Cowboys' turn, right? All you got to go through is the Eagles.
Yeah, I do agree with that. That being said, it will be easier said than done, as you said, because the Eagles did get better. And if they get Jonathan Taylor, they'll get even better. So we'll see what happens there. But it will be interesting to see what happens in the NFC because I feel like this is one of our best years to make a push for the Super Bowl. I'm not going to say make the Super Bowl because every year we say that and always fall short, but it's our best year to make a push. And if it doesn't happen this year, then when is it going to happen? So if we're for real, then we're going to have to show the NFL that we're for real this year.
I like this. I like the side of you. Thank you. Finally, we got some hunger out of the Cowboys fan. Yes. You know, Cowboys fans always say you're going to make the Super Bowl. But what you just said, usually you say, oh, 1 to 3 years, I'm giving a time window. Now, you want a Super Bowl this year? You want a Super Bowl this year? Like you said, this is your best chance. What do you guys have to lose? Throw everything you got at the Eagles, throw everything you got at the Giants, because that's going to be the toughest division. It used to be the NFC, least.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be the NFC beast, right? That's the toughest division you got. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if I'm looking at this team, I feel like it's our best team in, I'll say, at least 5 years.
I agree. Yes, you can make a discussion for the Steelers having the best defense. You can make a discussion for obviously what Miami created down there for the best defense.
Let's put it this way. The top two defenses are 1A and 1B. It's the Steelers or Cowboys. It's that simple, in my opinion.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's like you can make an argument, right, for the Steelers or Cowboys, but really the Cowboys defense could be the best defense in the league.
Absolutely. I mean, you got Trayvon Diggs on one side, Stephon Gilmore on the other, Micah Parsons rushing the passer, DeMarcus Lawrence rushing the passer.
Right.
Got Leighton Vander Esch back there. It's like, bro, pick your poison.
Exactly. That defense is stacked, right? Then your offense, it got even better.
Brandon Cooks is underrated, and
100%.
Dak Prescott is starting to become underrated with all the hate he's been getting.
I agree, but it is understandable because he's not that MVP level yet. We saw what he can do, and he hasn't performed like that consistently. That's the problem. And for me, Dak Prescott's got to turn it up this year, show us why he's MVP, and then possibly win a Super Bowl. If he's MVP, that Super Bowl bound to me.
Oh, I agree. I was going to say, Dak Prescott just turned 30 this offseason.
Right.
You're only getting older. It's time to play at an MVP level. You're in the peak of your career. It's time to win. Let's go.
100%. And I can't wait. Hey, let's get how many subscribers we got? 34?
Yeah.
Let's get to us. Let's get 40 subscribers. And I want to see what Jake's, has to say about the Cowboys next podcast, because I'm pretty sure he's about to say they're going to win the Super Bowl.
I'm not going that far, but I will say this. As I said, it's our best chance. And this is the most excited I've been for a team, honestly, in my entire lifetime, because I feel like that the ceiling is Super Bowl.
Well, you heard it here first. Another crystal ball moment for Jake Leclerc. 2023, right? They could be Super Bowl champions.
They could. If not this year, then possibly next year. But I think this year is the best chance.
Right.
But, I mean, going back to Trey Lance, as I said, Mike McCarthy, I feel like is a perfect coach for him to develop him, because look at what he developed in Aaron Rodgers. From day one, he was by Rodgers' side, and now look at Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
True. But is it like you guys always like to tell me, is Tom Brady really that great, right? And is Bill Belichick that great of a coach? Because we had that huge argument.
We did.
It can be said about this too. Aaron Rodgers is the most talented quarterback ever to me, right? Is it because of, McCarthy? Is it because of Rodgers? We'll see, because Trey Lance, again, has talent. We'll see what McCarthy does with him.
Yeah, for sure. I believe that it was more 50-50 for McCarthy and Rodgers than it was Belichick and Tom, personally.
Interesting.
But it's going to be interesting to see what Trey Lance becomes. And obviously Dak's 30. I'd say he has 5-6 more years in him. Once he retires, Trey Lance could be ready to take his spot. 6
years? You think he's... I don't even think Garoppolo waited 3 years till Brady was gone.
No, I'm saying five. Dak has 5-6 more seasons in him, and then right after he retires, I think Trey will be ready to step in.
That's what I'm saying. I really don't think, Garoppolo didn't wait 6 years. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, true.
Garoppolo
Yeah.
left.
Yeah, I mean, Trey might leave, but if he does stick it out, I believe that he will be ready, and by then he'll become at least a star quarterback.
He'll be a star quarterback. We'll see. It could even happen sooner than later, right?
It could.
If Dak gets hurt and shows us, I'm the man, then obviously he'll be the number one spot, and then hopefully, Dak goes out into the sunset champion.
Right. I mean, it could be like Tony Romo and Dak Prescott, how Dak started his career. Romo got hurt in the preseason, broke his back,
Right.
Dak came in, didn't lose the spot. It could happen that way. I hope it doesn't because I'm a Dak fan. I hope he
Right.
stays healthy and leads us to a Super Bowl, but it could be like that. You never know.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see. And if worse comes to worse, like you said, we have one of the best backups in the league, if not the best backup.
I think right now you guys have the best backup quarterback in the league.
I honestly can see that because I look at the rosters. Most backups are mediocre. Our backup has star potential.
Has star potential, yes. We've seen what Mason Rudolph has done and what Trubisky have done. Yes, they're good, but I really think between those guys and Trey Lance, I'm taking Trey Lance all day.
I 100% agree with that. But anything else you want to touch on before we go to the segments?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. What's going on in the sneaker world?
Well, we got a lot in the sneaker world happening, right? We got the Polynomo. I think I'm butchering this name. It's the Jordan ones, right?
Uh-huh.
It's a beautiful looking shoe. If you didn't go ahead and get the Mocha ones, which is one of the most hyped Jordan ones out in the last couple of years, these Jordan ones are for you, right? Looks kind of like the Mocha ones, but to me, it's just a lot cleaner. You don't got to worry about the slate. It's all leather, right? It's easy to wear, right? Easy to walk around in. You don't have to really worry about, getting that, suede mess, that leather messed up like the suede, right? So look at that shoe. It's going to be a massive drop. One of the most hyped sneakers coming out this year, right? Coming out, I believe, September 2nd. So good luck with that. Hopefully y'all can get them.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to those sneakers. Big Jordan fan over here. Got a new pair of Jordans on Sunday. So
Oh yeah,
looking
happy birthday to my man Trey. Happy birthday, number 22.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Yeah, definitely looking forward to those drops. Also in the video game world, 2K24 did announce they are putting Kobe moments in the game. Obviously, that is very cool, given that it's 2K24, Kobe's 2K as he is on the cover. Very looking forward to that gameplay. Looking forward to see what they have. You play Kobe moments like when he scored 81, you attempt to score 81 points with Kobe. So definitely looking forward to that. And I think it's a very cool gesture by 2K to add that. And it just shows me that they're still trying to make the game better, which as a fan of the game makes me very happy.
100%. But before we end it, quick question. Are they going to keep the Jordan moments or are they going to pretty much have the Kobe or the Jordan challenge? I mean, are they going to keep the Jordan challenge or are they going to replace that with the Kobe moments?
I'm pretty sure they're replacing it with the Kobe moments.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's all we have. That's all the time we got for today. Thank y'all for watching, and we'll see y'all in the next one. And get up to 40, like Gio said.
Hey, let's go over 40. Come on. You know what it is. We're gritty out here. We're trying to, blow this thing up. We love the community we're building. So if you guys aren't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up button because this was a great podcast. And then if you guys want to see Nick say again, you never know. We got to get more subscribers if you want to see Nick.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, thanks all. Peace.
Peace. Comment if you didn't agree with anything. Thanks for watching. Peace.